Today we are going to study chapter number 1 from the book First Flight. The story, A Letter to God, is written by G.L. Fuentes. The author, G.L. Fuentes, in his story, states that the faith is powerful. Faith can shake mountains. If you have faith on something, on yourself, or on somebody, you might achieve your desired goals. This story is about the great faith of a simpleton in the God. The story begins with Lencho hoping for rains so that his crops would give a better yield. Have you ever imagined if we had failed to understand the power of faith? How would the life be? If you do not believe in something and if you don't keep faith, you'll never be able to enjoy the pleasant life. Here, Lencho, who is a farmer, is really willing to have a good shower. He's waiting for the downpour. He is standing outside and staring at the sky, thinking that it would rain and he might yield the crops. After some time, when he observed that it is about to rain, his excitement was changed to despair. The rain does come, but it followed by a devastating hailstorm. Hailstorm destroyed all the standing crops on his farm. Now Lencho was really worried about the bleak future ahead. As he did not have crops. He did not have any other means to earn the livelihood of his family. He thought that the life would be full of struggles and he would not be able to make any arrangements for his family. But if you see the presentation of the story, the author highlights the character of Lencho in a different way. Here Lencho was not economically well off, but on the other hand, he was a strong believer of God. He believed in God and decided to write a letter to God. He wanted to write the letter to the God asking for some monetary help. Now Lencho, who wrote the letter, was really excited to receive 100 pesos from God. Lencho that when the next crop would give him enough money. Lencho's faith in God made him survive. After seeing Lencho's letter, the postmaster was deeply touched and he decided to help him. The character of the postmaster that is portrayed in the story is of a gentleman who is really willing to do something for Lencho. He was surprised at first that Lencho believed in God, but afterwards he did seek help of his colleagues in the post office and sent some money to Lencho. Lencho, who had great faith in God, did not accept the fact that God could have sent him 70 pesos instead of 100 pesos. He expresses his doubts about the honesty of post office employees. The story ends when Lencho blames the employees for lending only 70 pesos to him. He believes that God would send him other 20 pesos, 50 pesos, or another 30 pesos so that he could suffice his needs. In the initial part of the story, the episode of rainfall turning into a hail shows the conflict between men and nature. The author highlights how we suffer during the journey of our life. When it is a time to rejoice the rainfall, the dreams of Lencho were shattered due to hailstorm. The way Lencho is feeling sad and gloomy after the song appropriately projects the conflict of nature and the man. In the later part of the story, when Lencho blames post office people for stealing part of the money, then it shows the conflict between humans. So, in the first part of the story, in the first episode, we come across how the human beings have conflict with nature, whereas in the second part of the story, we get to know that there is conflict between humans as well. Although nothing is written what happened after that, but anybody can imagine the mental situation when the postmaster read the letter. So we can conclude that the story is full of illustrations. The conflicts have been illustrated in different forms in the story, which makes the readers understand different characters and personality traits of the characters in the story. Apart from this, we also come across other instances where the author is presenting the characters in different forms. Lencho, the believer in God, is shattered after the devastating hailstorm, but is a strong believer that God would help him during the time of crisis. The postmaster who did not know anything about Lencho, is ready to help him and do anything he could. So, in short, we can say that the characters presented in the story highlight the irony of situation where the human beings are helpless in certain situations and they have to depend on others and help each other so that they can have a fruitful life. It is almost impossible to find such people like Lencho. Lencho seems to be naive and unquestioning. Naive in the sense that he doesn't even bother to think about who sent the money or if God would actually send the money. Probably his naivete comes from his unquestioning belief in God. The fact that he received half the amount he had requested had really made him angry, but he was surprised when he got the money. Now let us have a quick recap of what we have just discussed. I hope you have read the story and you find it interesting. To jot down few questions for recapitulation, I have listed few on the screen. You might revise the chapter by preparing the mind map or jotting down the key points and answering the textual questions so that you can recall what you have studied today. What did Lencho hope for? Lencho hoped for rains because the crop in his field needed rain. How did the rains change the mindset of Lencho? Or how did Lencho reacted to hailstorm? The rain changed to hailstorm and made Lencho feel devastated and disheartened. What were Lencho's feelings when the hail stopped? After the destruction caused by hail, Lencho was sure to see a bleak future for him and his family. He was worried about lack of food for the coming year. What did Lencho do? Lencho wrote a letter to God and sought his help. He wanted God to lend him 100 pesos as he would return the debt as soon as possible. Who read the letter to God? The postmaster read the letter that was written by Lencho to God. I hope you're thorough with the